In HTML, it sometimes makes sense to render some data inside a table. So let's have a look at creating the table element, which is denoted by the opening and closing table tags. This is actually a semantic element. As you can tell by the name of the element, table, we have a rough idea on what's actually going to be inside that element, i.e. it is going to be a table. So inside a table, we have things called table rows, denoted by the opening and closing TR tags. We also have things called table headings. These are denoted by the opening and closing TH tags. We also have the opening and closing TD tags defining tabular data. So let's create a table of 3 by 3. So we're going to have 3 rows and 3 columns. Let's just make that third row now. Creating our table row and defining our tabular data. So now we have 3 rows. So let's create our other 2 columns. Each column is going to have a table heading. Then each subsequent row needs tabular data for that specific table heading. So this might look a little bit confusing right now. So what we can actually do is break this up so it's easily readable. So we can clearly see where our table rows are and what's actually inside our table rows. Just like that. So our first table heading is going to be color. Our second table heading will be width. And our last table heading will be height. I'm just going to fill this in. So we're going to have green and 100 and 100 and blue and 75 by 85. Right. So this is essentially a table. In HTML5, we also have the caption. This is defined with the caption opening and closing tags. In here we can put some descriptive text or a caption of our table. So this will display above the table, and it's a good idea to get into the habit of actually using the caption. So let's save this and take a look in our browser. As you can see, we have some kind of table. It's a bit squashed up. So let's add some borders to our table cells. We can do this by using the border attribute of the table element. We could either leave it like this to specify no borders, or we can put in a value of 1 to specify borders. So let's set it to 1. Let's go ahead and save this and take a look in the browser and see what this looks like now. As you can see, we now have some borders surrounding our table cells and our table element. It is a little bit easier to read. I hope you've learned a little bit about the table element in HTML5, along with the caption element, table rows, table headings, and tabular data.